Josh Denbo, consumer attorney. What is the Truth in Lending Act? How does it work? How does it protect consumers? How does it protect industry? How does it protect investors who buy debt? Important questions. If you note, I don't have anything props in the back. I don't have any, fancy things to attract your attention. If you want to understand the Truth in Lending Act from 30,000 feet, listen for the next 2 to 3 minutes. All right. Truth in Lending Act is a statute that controls the financing of the purchase of goods. In the case that everybody reaches out to me in all the works that I do, it's in the case of financing the purchase of consumer goods because I don't do business litigation. So consumer goes to a used car dealer. They sign a contract with the dealer. They get the car. They agree to pay credit card interest rates for 4 years on a car that probably isn't worth it. But that's the deal that they made. They walk out of the lot. The next moment, that contract is then sold to the debt buyer, to the investor, who is going to be the company that collects from the borrower. Why is it set up that way? What does it mean to the consumer? What does it mean to the dealership? What does it mean to the debt buyer? And how do you fix a problem if there is a problem? Those questions go to the heart as to why everybody else on the internet talking about the Truth in Lending Act is feeding you a bunch of baloney. Because you have to understand the public policy issues here to understand the Truth in Lending Act, to understand why a consumer can't tell 99% of the time that there is a Truth in Lending Act violation. All right, look. The Truth in Lending Act is in place it's a federal statute, so it governs in every state. Every state courts have interpreted the Truth in Lending Act, certain sections of it a little differently, so it's no longer really uniform, but the point of it is a uniform statute that's designed to give industry the comfort that this is how the system is going to work in New Jersey, in Alaska, in Hawaii, and Nebraska, so that they can do national business. And that's an important public policy issue. It's also there to protect debt buyers who can buy debt and not have to worry about fraud claims or defenses that the borrower might have against the maker of the loan, the issuer of the original debt. That's important too, because in industry, these large finance deals, there's a $1 trillion or gazillion dollar industry around the world in buying these notes, buying this debt and being able to collect it. That's part of the worldwide financial system. If every borrower, every debtor had the ability to challenge the issuance of the note to the current owner, we would have chaos. So we can't have that. At the same time, we have to have protections against consumers, particularly consumers, getting defrauded at the sale and then having a very sophisticated industry use the industry protections for debt buyers to commit fraud on purpose and prevent collection. Knotty problem. That right there, what I just described, is what I do. That's the area that I care about the most. And I'll tell the story how I got into this particular niche industry, part of the legal world if people want to know. But look, you go to the perfect example is a used car dealership. You go to a used car dealership, and they sell you a car, credit card interest rates, there are 5 years, maybe the car's worth it, probably not. There are problems with the vehicle, you're upset, you want to go back, you want to undo things. You go back to the dealership and they say, hey, I can't help you. We don't own your debt. Credit Acceptance Corporation or one of those other jerks owns your debt. You have to talk to them. You go to Credit Acceptance Corporation or Westlake Financial or any of those other schmucks. And they say, hey, it's not our problem that your car only had 3 wheels or caught on fire as soon as you drove it off the lot. We own the debt. You have to go back and talk to the dealership. That's the game that they play. The question is, what can the Truth in Lending Act do to protect you? 2 things. Number 1, there is a section in the Truth in Lending Act that says if there's a problem with the documents that are sold as part of the loan to the debt buyer, so that the debt buyer, if they read them and really understood what they were looking at, could know there was a problem, then the debt buyer is liable. That's huge. That's huge. And that's the opening, or one of the openings. Here's the problem. You look at your TIL disclosures. You look at your itemization of amount finance. You get some calculators, you do the math. It all adds up. Every single time it adds up. Every time. So where's the violation? The violation, if there is one, comes in the add-ons, comes in the treatment of the add-ons and the treatment of the financing charge versus the amount financed. This is not something a layperson can figure out on their own. It just isn't. It isn't. If you're watching a video looking for answers on a how-to manual to figure out whether you have a truth in lending claim, you're in the wrong place. Well, you're actually in the right place, because I'm going to tell you can't do it. But you're barking up the wrong tree. You need to speak to an expert in your jurisdiction who does this kind of work, who knows how to break this stuff down. Because if you do have a violation that I've just described, the truth in lending immunity for the debt buyer, gone. Gone. It's gone. And then it's, Katie bar the door. You've got claims against everybody. And that's a wonderful thing because the debt buyers have money. The dealership doesn't necessarily have the money. All right? So I have told you, I've given you zero useful information except for two things. I've told you all the public policy issues around the Truth in Lending Act that should make your head hurt because they're really hard to solve. And two, I've told you can't do this alone. If you've gotten this far on the video, kudos to you. I got your back. I fight for people like you all the time. I hate used car dealers. I like you.